All right, we are here in Irwin, Pennsylvania. I'm Brian Crawford. I am Pittsburgh's moral compass, shedding some righteousness on these heathens.
Heathens? Not in Irwin.
No, that's true. Irwin is a fantastic place. Everyone here is super awesome. We are here. I'm
Very
here with my
nice.
friend Ian Insect. You're familiar with him if you've seen the Moville Music Minute and a few other things. So I'm
the I to the A
going
to
to
the
tolerate
N to the
him
I to the
today.
R W I N.
Welcome to Irwin, Pennsylvania. He's here, but really, I know you're watching to see me. And you can see there's lots of stuff going on outside. We are here, actually, inside the Laurel Highlands Meadery, which is right here in Irwin. Awesome town. There's music out on the streets today. It's really a fantastic event. And we are down here for Irwin's Music on the Streets event, the Downtown Irwin Music in the Streets. And we're drinking some mead right now from Laurel Highlands Meadery. It is fantastic. This place is so awesome. This place actually plays the River's Edge as their house music. So it's a really awesome place. And we're here to talk about why everyone is here in Irwin, why it's packed. The streets are packed. People are out enjoying music. And I'm from this town, so it's kind of a fun experience to be able to come back here. This is actually the first live broadcast of the River's Edge here in Irwin.
Oh, I'm here for yet another first.
What's that? Yeah,
I'm
you're
here for yet another
first.
first.
Yeah. So Ian, this is your. Is this your first time in the downtown part of Irwin?
Yeah, I'd say that's accurate.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, I'm just a small town country bumpkin here in the big city, so it's a little overwhelming.
Well, it's kind of funny that you say that, because as somebody who grew up here in Irwin and has traveled to Pittsburgh, and I live in Pittsburgh now, my first job with Plantscape, everybody would say, "Oh, you're from out in the country. You're from out in the country, out in the sticks." And I'm just thinking, have any of you ever been to Irwin? It's a beautiful town, really, really nice town. It's got an interesting history. Irwin was a train stop on the way to Pittsburgh, and they had a lot of really cool places to visit. The circus used to come to Irwin, actually. That was kind of a cool
and here
little
it is
thing.
Again today.
Yes, we brought the circus here at
No, it's you.
Laurel Highlands
that would
Meadery.
be you.
You're the one that's named Insect. Here we go. The Ian Insect here. Come one, come all. So this meadery is really fantastic. The mead here is great. I definitely suggest coming down and getting a glass. They are on the shop crawl. So for tonight's event, it's the third Thursday. It started out as a art and jazz night, and now they have changed it to the Music in the Streets night to try to encompass all types of music. And it's really an interesting event. It's been going on for years, and they do it every third Thursday. So it's the third Thursday in the summer, June, July, and August. This is the first one of the year, and they basically shut the streets down. They put music in the streets, and then they have a shop crawl as well, where you can go explore some of the awesome businesses here in Irwin, such as Laurel Highlands Meadery. And Laurel Highlands Meadery, we're going to talk with Matt, who is the owner here. It really, to me, symbolizes the future of Irwin and where Irwin is moving. Irwin's been a town that, to me, didn't always have a diverse set of businesses. Always some interesting businesses, but now you've got a meadery, you've got a buyback store, which is kind of like a culture where you can buy old toys and video games and things like that. And now Irwin also has a music shop where you can buy guitars and things like that. So it's really an up-and-coming town. And one thing I love about Irwin is it never really hit the slump that many other communities ran into, and I think it has to do with the business community and putting on events like this Music in the Streets night.
Well, to me, what's very interesting is I'm a well-traveled individual, but for me, it's always fun going to smaller towns as opposed to just your large
cities, yeah.
Metropolitan areas, your mainstream urban areas. I always like a town with a main street in it. When the main street is actually the main street in a town, you're always in for a treat. And something I've always found is there just tends to be a lot more freedom, or maybe just a higher visibility to more creative storefronts in smaller towns. And this holds true across the country. I've been to very small towns in in the Midwest, also in the mountain time zone, I've been to places, like Utah, Colorado, all these tiny towns, Arizona, Oklahoma, Illinois, Kentucky, here, and in the eastern part of the state, up New York, that places that aren't New York City. And it's a unifying thread. There seems to be a very common theme in smaller towns. They develop in their own way, and they don't take on the coastal or regional trends of the place. Like when you go to a West Coast city, you're in LA, or you're in San Francisco. There's a thematic similarity. Same thing, that's why certain people consider Pittsburgh to be more of a Midwestern town, because it takes on those characteristics of more like a Madison, Wisconsin, or Chicago. But when you go to small towns, you have the main street, and then you have 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th Street, and they always have these really interesting places like meaderies.
Yes, and really, that the town is kind of on the rise when something like a meadery moves in. You always see that. It's the first thing before a town booms is something like a meadery or a brewery or a winery moves in. So it's really a very... to me, this is just so Irwin, and I love it here. So you could see, I don't know if you could see behind us, but there are people walking around. There are people enjoying this awesome event.
They're right there on the street,
right there
Brian.
On the street.
They're right there on the street.
Or music on the streets, right? So it's your first time here in Irwin, Ian, and I think, or your first time in downtown Irwin. You've been into the area, but your first time here on the main street.
Yep.
And you've seen some of the businesses, you've seen the environment. One thing I love about Irwin is they have things like this all of the time. So they have, in February, they get hundreds and hundreds of people to come down for a chili and wing cook-off.
I'm there.
In February, yeah.
I'll be there.
So,
in February?
February, yeah. So it's really just an awesome town. So we do have some weird news lined up for you. We also have Matt, who's going to be coming on. He is the owner here of the meadery. Actually, if you want to come over here, Matt. So Matt here started the meadery, and he's going to try to share with Ian here. If you want to go over with Ian and see if the two of you can become, be good friends here.
I can stand behind. I can loom menacingly.
Matt, you started Laurel Highlands here. Why did you move to Irwin? Is it because of events like this?
We actually came down, it was Light Up Night 2 years ago, and just the number of people that were walking the streets, it just looked like such an awesome place.
How many people do you think come down for Light Up Night?
Oh, thousands.
Thousands, yeah. It's insane.
I'm not even sure, but we just walked around at that point, and we're like, this is a really nice town. I've been down here for, I actually live very close. I work very close, so...
So do you live in Irwin, or do you live in North Huntington?
I actually live in Harmony.
Oh, you live in Harmony, which is, okay.
So
very cool.
It's not very far, but I've come down for lunch and different things like that, and it never really occurred to me that Irwin was, kind of a cool little town.
So, what got you into mead? Because it's not like you are putting out more IPAs or something. It's kind of a specialized type of alcoholic beverage, a very tasty one. But it is not the one that everyone first jumps into. If you want to move in a little bit closer to.
There, can you get my beautiful face now?
Yes, you're in it now.
Nice.
So why mead?
Face for radio.
How did you get into it?
I've been a home brewer for 20-some years.
Okay.
And years ago I read about mead, and I thought, that might be actually something cool to do, and never did that until a friend of mine who is from Russia came back with a fermented honey drink. I said, oh, you mean mead? He's like, no, fermented honey drink. Okay, it's fermented honey drink. I had that. It was, a little bit hoppy, a little bit citrusy. It was oaked, so it was really nice. And I thought, I can probably do something like this. And
so is it safe to say that Laurel Highlands Meadery is colluding with the Russians?
Back then, yes. Not now, no.
So, no, but this is a very beautiful space, and I like what you've done with it. If for those of you who aren't here, you got to come and check it out. They have barrels actually as tables, which I love, and that's one thing I love about the brewery scene. And even though it's not a brewery, it's a meadery. It's that in that scene is the aesthetics of a lot of these places. It's really got a cool look and a cool feel to it.
Yeah, like the tasting bar we have, it may not look like much, but it was handmade by some old Yinzer. We bought it. It was somebody's grandfather's that they didn't know what to do with it, and we thought, this guy built this bar. He was drinking his, Iron Cities around it with his buddies, playing pool in the basement and just having a good time. And we thought, that's something that we like. We don't want the, kind of sterile, really nice looking things. We'd rather have things that have been used. Like if you look around, we have the barrels, we have some furniture that we found around, and we're just trying to be a little bit different than everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Now I know you have a big radiator here where you're sitting next to you. For those of you got to come again. You can't see it. You cannot see it, but you have to come in and see it. So you got to come down to Laurel Highlands Meadery. Do you ever sit on the radiator?
No, it's way too hot.
Really? Because I love sitting on radiators.
No, this one it's either 45 degrees inside or 105 degrees. So,
oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
There's very little temperature control.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, right now it's like really nice out, so you wouldn't want to have the radiator on anyways. But yeah,
right.
In the wintertime, it's nice to go in and I don't know. I like sitting on radiators.
Yeah, the little banner above it's always flying. With
nice.
the heat coming off of it.
Very cool. So, Irwin, are you a part of like the business group here in Irwin, the Irwin Business Professional Association?
We are. Mm-hmm. We're not as active as most of the other businesses. We're, unfortunately, my wife and I both have day jobs. Hopefully,
which is crazy that you're able to keep this place up and running despite that.
Sometimes I don't know how we do it, and I wish this was the day job, and that's what the ultimate goal is. Mm-hmm. Right now, everything's working. We may not be as big as I would like, but I definitely think we're, making some good mead. We're meeting a lot of really great people and just having a good time.
Now, I need some advice. I notice you do not have the deep circles under your eyes like I do, but you're working basically two full-time jobs. So how do you manage to do that and get away with that?
Well, I also have 2 boys, so
So you've got like 3 or 4 full-time jobs.
Yeah, so like 4 full-time jobs. I don't let anything really stress me. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the. I guess it can be a blessing or a curse.
But you guys don't just have the tasting room. You also go out and into the different scenes and try to sell at like beer festivals and things like that as well, correct?
Yeah, unfortunately we don't get into Pittsburgh as much as we'd like, because I was telling Ian, most of the times things are going on, we're here. So we're here Thursday nights, Friday nights, and all day Saturday. Mm-hmm. So that takes up most of our time. We do try to get out. We do a lot of events. This year we've tried to do a little bit more. Like we just did Beers of the Berg. That was fantastic. Talked to a lot of really great people there. And, one of the things I really like doing is talking to the other makers. And we just don't seem to ever get that chance.
Yeah. That's cool. And whenever you go to an event like that, is it pretty cooperative or is it very competitive?
Everybody is very cooperative. I can't say we're in the craft beer scene in Pittsburgh, but we're very closely knit with the craft beer scene in Pittsburgh. All those guys are very awesome. The other meaderies in town, Apis and Kingview, are very awesome. They've been very supportive of us, and we're very supportive of them. Everybody kind of makes something a little bit different. And
so how does that work in that kind of a situation? I know like with online media it's very similar, where it's very collaborative in a lot of ways, whereas like old school, like ancient radio is very competitive, and they don't, not that obviously like Clear Channel's not going to work with, I don't know, like WESA or something like that, but even amongst other forms of journalism, like a newspaper, sometimes they could be even competitive in that realm as well, whereas it seems like, craft breweries, online media, things like that, they seem to be more collaborative. Why do you think that is?
I really don't know, but I've just found the craft brewing people, the mead people have been just really helpful. Everybody wants to see everybody else succeed, especially with mead. It's such a small niche industry.
It is, yeah.
That,
I did not know what it was until I was introduced to Apis, actually.
Yeah, and that's it. If people don't find it, they're never going to find it. A lot of people have walked in here even tonight. I've never heard of mead before. Mm-hmm. They try it and they're fascinated with it. They say, that's amazing. I've never had anything like that. and they walk out with a bottle or two. And
yeah, and it's great to hear that people are actually asking questions, because I feel like a lot of times on shop crawls, people will run in, they'll get their things stamped, and then they run back out, and they don't even have a chance to notice what color the wall is as they're running and going. But people
we are getting some of that
asking.
tonight. Most of it is underage, so all they're looking for is the magic word, which I will not say what it is here. But we are shop number 7. So.
Okay. So come down, you can grab a map, check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to go on a quick break. Thank you so much, Matt. And definitely come out and check out the mead. My glass just ran empty because it's can't put it down. So, well, I just put it down there, but you know what I mean. So we will be back. We're going to take a quick break, and then Ian will rejoin me, and we've got some weird news, and we're going to try to keep the rain away by telling 3 weird stories, and I'll explain why right after this. All right, welcome back. I am Pittsburgh's #1 weapon, saving the city every week from total destruction. We are here in Irwin. As you know,
weapon of mass deception.
No, I'm fantastic. So, many of you know, if you're longtime listeners of the show, if you are not, I will enlighten you. There is a monster that lives in the Monongahela known as the Mon Monster, and it terrorizes the city of Pittsburgh. Yet it can be entertained with 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 weird stories to keep the Mon Monster at bay. And,
did you ever try 4?
Sometimes if you push them too far over the edge, you don't know where things are going to go. And I know you're saying, why are we talking about the Mon Monster?
Yeah, Brian, why are we talking about the Mon Monster? We're all the way out here in lovely downtown
if you remember, it was raining earlier, and people think that it was actually rain, whereas actually it wasn't. It was beyond that. It's a horrible thing. The Mon Monster was actually spitting Mon River water on Irwin to try to rain out the music on the streets event. It hates
so contemptuous,
hates people, it hates local music, it hates everything that this awesome event stands for,
just like mead.
So
here at the Laurel Highlands.
Yeah, it hates mead, and only an evil monster would hate mead. So we are going to tell 3 weird stories to try to entertain the beast and keep it away from Irwin. As you can see right now, it's sunny, it's beautiful, there's music on the streets here at the downtown Irwin Music on the Streets night. Yes, you definitely want to come and check this out. We are here at Laurel Highlands Meadery. Happy to be here. We're drinking phenomenal drinks, an unbelievable meadery, and you should be here as well. So, Ian, you've got the first story for us today.
Absolutely, and I have a trademark on weird stories, because you can trademark things like that. You can trademark things that are clearly public domain.
Well, the River's Edge is not paying you any cut.
Well,
any cut at all.
Now I know how Gene Simmons must feel.
Explain.
He is now in the news for going through with age-old plans that he had only sort of hinted at in years prior to trademark the metal sign, the
kind
rock and roll,
the Millville Music Festival thing.
Yep.
Yeah, so the Millville Music Festival, which is if you're from Irwin listening for the first time, there was a giant music festival in Millville, kind of like Music on the Streets night. So which is very, very cool. You should come check it out right now. But our logo was that symbol.
And so, if Gene Simmons gets his way, we'll have to retroactively pay him for every use of that logo. He claims to have invented what some people call the devil horns, the rock on. What this really is, though, this is the evil eye. This is property of, as we all know, Mr. Ronnie James Dio, who got it from his grandmother. It's the evil eye. You can, in his words, you can cast the evil eye, she taught him, and you can also defend against the evil eye and defend against spirits. And so here comes this, opportunistic, as per usual, Gene Simmons, who wants credit for everything, inventing rock and roll, inventing gestures, inventing very watered down corporate 80s rock. That one we can give to him as a consolation prize. But I think it's just weird the things that people will try to trademark and make a quick buck off
such as Cove Feifei.
Oh yeah?
Cove Feifei. Yes, there are people right now who are trying to trademark the word Cove Feifei, which is the word that Donald Trump invented during one of his Twitter tirades.
Covfefe.
Yeah. Believe it or not, he does not drink. Donald Trump.
Yeah, he does not seem like anyone has ever asked him out for a beer in his life.
No, but he doesn't drink. No, he seriously doesn't, because a relative of his, I think it was like a brother or something, died due to a drinking issue. So he doesn't drink at all. But it's funny because you look at his like Twitter tirades in the middle of the night and you think that he's drunk.
Well, it's I've done that before, and I mean, I obviously we don't want to go on a huge political bent here or tirade, but just as far as typos and stuff, I've done that before. I mean, obviously he was trying to type coverage because he was talking contextually. You can figure it out, even with all the bad press coverage. And he went COV, and he probably was doing like the finger thing. I do the swipe personally, but I come up with tons, hundreds daily typos, and I, instead of going to delete them, accidentally hit send because, you know, the buttons are so small and my big fat fingers just, you know, you would think though Mr. Donald would, with his tiny hands, be able to navigate the keyboard better. But so people are trying to trademark Covfefe?
Yeah, they are. And we're talking about mistakes on the internet. There was one congressman here. We have story number 2. As you can see, I'm showing you a picture of the web browser. And as you can see, on the web browser, near the top, there are a bunch of different tabs that are open. And right now, you know, I just have Facebook opened and a news article and a few different things. But there are different tabs there. Well, there was a congressperson and a congressman who apparently screenshotted a website that had different tabs open for porn websites. So now he has been exposed as someone who engages in watching pornography.
Which is very rare. No one
in Washington, D.C. ever does that.
No one anywhere. I mean, it's
but
really...
especially not in D.C.
Yeah, never.
Never. No.
Never.
I mean, you only have saints like Anthony Weiner who, you know, live the Puritan lifestyle.
Yeah. And Marion Barry.
Mary, yeah.
I have to go back far. I don't know why. I'm not a relevant kind of guy.
So,
10 years down the line, I'll be talking about Trump.
But my question is why do we really care that much?
You jokingly call Anthony Weiner someone puritanical.
I mean, we care more about, that's actually a serious thing because he took pictures with his child. That raises it to a whole different level.
But when you
but as far as like if somebody watches porn, who's a congressman, does that make them a bad congressman?
Well, the key word is Puritan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though you use that word satirically, we have this expectation that people uphold the puritanical ideals on which this country was founded. I mean, and again, not to get on a political tirade, but you can just see in the policy on the backs of our currency and stuff like that, there's not a huge separation of church and state, which, I mean, debate as you will is fine, just for the purposes of conversation is fine, but at least say that there are, you know, certain religious aspects to the way in which we conduct ourselves publicly. Some of it is safety issues, some of it is public decency, but you're right, stuff like that, common sense would tell you, you know, I guess the only thing you could say that's maybe legitimate is if he's a government employee and he's getting paid to do work and he's on the clock using government resources for leisure time.
But as a congressman, you are... It's kind of a thing where you're always on the clock, but never on the clock. So it's not like you punch in and punch out.
Sure.
So to go with that kind of standard, I mean... I don't know. It's like, what, is he never allowed to do?
Well, is it government resources? Was he on a government-issued computer?
Yeah.
That could be a legitimate... But even that's a write-up. That's a written or final warning at best. And I say that as someone who issues a lot of corrective action forms.
It looks like I'm looking at the actual tabs he had open.
Can you read them out loud?
Yeah, one of them says, Downtown Irwin, music on the streets. And
he was just planning his day.
And Laurel Highlands Meadery. So apparently he was looking at more than just porn. Apparently he was, planning out an amazing event to go experience. And he was planning to come to Irwin.
Is that the kind of person you want at your Downtown Music in the Streets day, though?
Someone who likes porn? I don't know. If he could be fun, that might mean maybe that means he's wild and crazy. Maybe you'll not that you couldn't liven this up anymore. This is really awesome with the fantastic music, but like maybe it could be like a street performer or something of that effect.
I don't know that he would get a lot of tips.
Maybe not. So you have one more weird story to try to chase the rain away. that is the rain,
clouds.
which is really the spitting of
what
the
are
Mon
these clouds?
River.
What are the dark clouds? Is that just his bad breath?
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah, really awful. So you've got one more story.
One more story, and it's actually sort of related. There's a New York gentleman's club, the Penthouse Executive Gentlemen's Club, and they are apparently under heat with the IRS for attempting to evade over $3 million in federal back taxes.
Wow.
on a self-identified technicality. You see, they refer to their dancers in the club as therapists and not strippers, and they used this tactic and explanation to attempt to negate the fees, or evade the fees, based on the fact that the door charge is not for entertainment purposes, but rather for therapeutic medical purposes, as these dancers are therapeutic companions to lonely men.
But I can see it. It's some people, it could be like the medicine that they need. Get the juices flowing. They say sometimes it can be good for your heart to get a little excited. So maybe these women are just providing a service.
And so you think that maybe is what the state representative, or I'm sorry, the congressman was trying to do? Was
maybe
just get as like some calisthenics?
When you got like older people like Bernie Sanders, maybe he was trying to get a little, get them a little excited, a little roused up, and keep them in good health. Maybe he was looking at the health and safety of everyone in Congress.
Okay, and of course we all know safety starts right in the palm of your hand.
Yes.
I think that got sufficiently weird.
That did get pretty, it get pretty odd. So we are here at the Laurel Highlands Meadery Tasting Room, which is right here in Irwin, right on 4th Street. And Irwin is a town that I grew up in. I actually grew up in North Irwin, which is a separate town. They have their own mayor, their own council, but they have no stores. They have no gas stations. They don't have anything like that. So you come to Irwin for all of that stuff, and I always loved my time here in Irwin, and I always loved my good friend Gail Macioce, who is right here. She's gonna head over on Ian's side of the table. She is a councilwoman here in Irwin, and she is the I guess you would say the godmother of the Irwin Art and Jazz Nights here in Irwin, which is now Music on the Streets Nights, but originally it was Art and Jazz Nights. So, Gail, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm excited to have you here. I'm excited to be here. Isn't it such an awesome place, this meadery?
Oh, I love the meadery. It's a great place, and I just brought a friend in, and he had no idea what mead was.
Yeah.
So he's there getting his education.
I always say that a town is on an upward climb when, if you want to move in a little bit, lean in there. Yeah, a town is always on an upward climb when a brewery moves in or a meadery or something like that. They're only going to go to places that are nice places that they want to be. So they just aren't going to survive anywhere. So I think that says a lot about Irwin.
We're very happy to have them here in Irwin. Irwin is the biggest little town in western Pennsylvania.
It is, yeah. It's really awesome. One thing that I love about Irwin is, having grown up in this area and have gone to a lot of Irwin events, things like this happen all the time. You've got a business community. Do they still meet weekly?
We meet every Thursday morning at 8 o'clock.
That's insane.
Before all the businesses open.
So I am part of the Business Association of Millville, which is an amazing organization. Very, very happy, very proud to be a member. The River's Edge is a member. They meet monthly. And they get a lot of stuff done. They do a great job. But I think that just shows the level of commitment here in Irwin that you're willing and able to meet every single week.
Well, we have so many different events. We have probably 17 events this year alone, and that doesn't count with some of the borough-sponsored events like Concerts in the Park. These are all downtown Irwin events, and they go from a car cruise to jazz nights to light up night, cookie tour. We just have a lot of diverse events here.
So how did the original Art and Jazz Nights, how did you originally come up with that idea?
Well, I wish I could take credit, but
rolling?
I cannot.
I thought you were the godmother.
I will tell you. Well, see, I have to tell the truth.
Okay.
When I first moved my business into Irwin, we had a Main Street manager, Dawn Henderson.
Yes.
Dawn Henderson came up with the idea of the jazz and the art. And when he left, because it was like a position just for a couple of years.
Yeah.
When he left, he said, and I quote, "You'll never be able to keep jazz night going with just volunteers." Well, that was like throwing that gauntlet down.
Uh-huh.
So I went to John Duncan, who loved jazz nights, and I said, "John Duncan, can we do this together?" So the Duncan Financial Group does all the setup, the tear down, the marketing, all those things that they're so good at. They have a big.
They're awesome. Yeah, what an amazing company too. It says a lot about them that they are willing to step up to the plate.
Is just, I mean, he leads because when it rains, he's out there wiping off the seats, just like with his other people. He's not a boss kind of boss. He's a great person. But so, and I have all the connections in the jazz community, so my job is to make sure we have an eclectic mix of musicians. And so tonight, we were really wonderfully lucky to get Gail Macioce and the cabarets, because we have young people from 5th grade on who are singing jazz like they've been singing it their whole lives. They have that maturity about the way they perform, because Gail Macioce, has a jazz studio in Monroeville, but down the street we have him every year, Mr. Harold Betters, 89 years young.
Excellent, yeah.
And so this year he is joined with Jimmy Sapienza, who is a character all on his own. Anybody who's ever heard his music knows that guy is an entertainer. And so we have a lot of different musicians tonight. Later on, Donna Groom of the Skyliners will be at Cafe Supreme. We have a string theory down at Cheesecake Cafe, and Tom Book will be in the tap room. So and
he's great. He does it all every year as well.
He does. You know what? Gary Santemeyer, owner of the Colonial Grill, one of our good sponsors, he says, "I love Tom Book. I'm not changing him ever." And so that's who he has every year. But we do this 3 times a summer. So coming up, we have Benny Benack in July. Judy Figel will be here in July. So we have a great mix too. And in the last month, we have the Bone Form. Have you ever seen the Bone Form?
Yeah, I have actually, yeah.
And remember when I said to you, "Brian, they have 5 trombones playing," and you probably went, "What? What's that going to sound like?" Well, it sounds like heaven.
It's great. Yeah, I would love that.
Sounds like heaven.
I'm a brass guy.
You are?
As you
well,
know.
I heard.
Yes. Top brass, yes.
Top brass, yes.
No, but I'm a former trumpet player. I've performed in some brass quartets and things like that. So, yes, I'm somebody who definitely appreciates.
And then in August also, this is my big get of the summer, Etta Cox is coming.
Oh, wow.
So
awesome.
she was, and you know what she said to me? "I've heard about your event. I really want to come." Now, this is
that's
the
awesome.
woman who was voted #1 female jazz singer in Pittsburgh 8 years in a row. She wants to come to Irwin.
Wow, isn't that insane? I mean, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
This town's so great. And why do you think Irwin is, why do you think there is such a passion in Irwin? Do you think it has to do with its roots, being that it was always kind of like a touristy area with the train station on its way into Pittsburgh? Do you think that it's kind of living in that spirit?
That's a good question. I'm not sure, because I didn't grow up here, so I'm a transplant. I don't know what but I fell in love. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of my hometown of Sharpsburg, which is real close to Millville. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it reminds me of that, and so I think that's what I was drawn to, the main street. But it's all the little shops and the people, and you know who? Right across the street, Mrs. Holzlegel.
Yeah, she is a workhorse.
You cannot have a better president of the Business Association. She's been the president ever since it was formed, and she's just wonderful.
And very open-minded, too, because, something like you, there's always new things that are coming out of the IBPA. It's always new and fresh, which I think is really important.
And the one thing I've noticed is that even when we have a shop that has to go for one reason or another, sometimes it's job changes. So, because a lot of these people, their shops are like a second job.
Well, we were just talking to Matt, the owner of this establishment.
Oh, okay.
He and his wife, they both work full-time jobs outside of the meadery.
But they want to do this because they have a passion for it.
Yes.
They have a passion for it. So even if this place next door was open for about 5 minutes until this young woman comes over and she wants to have an art studio, and she she was so gracious because when it rained today, she let the cabaret go into her art studio and set up, and they performed their first set inside the art studio.
Wow, that's
And
cool.
now, because of blue skies coming my way.
Well, you know why, right? So we were just talking about this. Every week, I tell 3 weird stories to keep the Mon Monster from destroying the city of Pittsburgh. Even though the river doesn't run along Irwin, he hates people, he hates local music, hates everything that this is about. So he was actually spitting river water on Irwin. And we chased him away.
It wasn't rain,
So,
it was the Mon River water.
It was Mon polluted Mon water. So, but now it's all gone, and it's beautiful. And you need to come out to downtown Irwin music.
Absolutely,
on the streets. Right.
absolutely. Well, I would be remiss without saying, how about our pens?
Yeah, right.
And this
I
goes
missed
out
it
to
all.
Marc-Andre Fleury. I will miss him.
Oh, is he leaving?
That's what
confirmed?
they tell me, but I'm one of the Flurryites.
I love Fleury. Yeah. He got a raw deal, I feel.
I do too.
Yeah, I mean,
But
nothing against Murray. Murray played phenomenally,
Yeah.
but he, especially last year when he really was. Well, I mean, last year was an injury situation, but he really got them to the playoffs. They never would have made it if it wasn't for Fleury, and even this year,
they wouldn't have been in the third round.
Yeah, wouldn't have made it. So.
But nothing against Murray.
No,
But
nothing at
Fleury
all,
is
yeah.
definitely a class act. So I just had to throw that in there because it's right on my heart this week.
Yeah, it's awesome individual. He does a lot of good in the Pittsburgh community too, doesn't he?
I'm sure he
believe,
does.
yeah.
Yeah, he goes to the hospitals and stuff, and he just looks like he's the best father on those wonderful little commercials.
Yeah.
That he does.
So you don't have to worry about the Penguin game interrupting your time here. There's no games going on tonight. Is there a Pirate game? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Come down to Irwin Music in the Streets nights. It's a lot of fun. Come and get yourself a glass of mead while you're traveling around.
You need mead.
You need mead. Exactly. Thank you so much, Gail.
Brian, it's so good to see you.
Yeah, you as
we
well.
miss you out here.
I know. I gotta. Well, we'll be back for the next 2. And
All right, this is great. Thank
looking
you so
forward to
much
it.
for
Thank
coming
you.
out.
Yep, that's Gail Macioce. She is a councilwoman here in Irwin, Pennsylvania, 15642. So, Ian, welcome back.
Welcome back to the 15642.
Yes.
We need T-shirts. We need like those 412 T-shirts they have. We need that with just those 2 extra digits.
Yeah, that would be great. So, it's interesting. 156 actually it's regional, the way zip codes are laid out. So 15601 is actually Greensburg, and it's everybody that's near that Greensburg office. So, but 15642, come on out. Irwin Music in the Streets night. There is still time. You have not missed it.
What I gotta say, what I have to note, Gail was mentioning the upcoming acts.
Yes.
And I actually went to school in Plumboro School District.
Oh, okay.
And Judy Figgle, who will be performing here next month, was a teacher in that school district. She would go school to school and do voice lessons, piano lessons, and teach also music classes as well. No, I mean, I never took any lessons from her, but it's just name recognition, I guess. Maybe she knows, might remember my sister, I think, took a couple lessons, but, whatever. She's a nice teacher, from what I can remember.
Come check it out.
But yeah, also a fantastic singer. That I can say with complete certainty.
Awesome. Well, we wrap up every show for first-time listeners with why the world is coming to an end. So we've got that. You're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network, Pittsburgh's voice for local music. Let's play the music for this segment.
This is not progress, this is distress. Oh, what a mess, what a big bloody mess. This is not a war, this is not a fair fight. This is not a window for you to see the light. This is not a battle, this is not a victory. This is not about the desert or the oil or being free. This is not a revolution where there is no solution. This is impossible to find a conclusion. I can't stand here and watch my world.
I can't stand here and watch my world die. Today, on our way here to this event, to this wonderful, wonderful event, the Music in the Streets night here, downtown Irwin. Come check it out. We were met with terrible, terrible rain. It was the Mon Monster trying to keep us from entering Irwin. As you know, Pittsburgh is closer to the river, so the water was more intense as we were on our way.
Very
But a bunch
intense.
of these kids here, a bunch of losers, were driving like it was raining molasses.
Which
Because
has happened.
everybody is terrified of the rain. Why is everyone terrified of the rain? If we don't even have the guts, if we do not even have the testicular fortitude to drive through a rainstorm, then what hope is there for humanity?
Well, I'm sure that people would be happy to drive through the rain fast if there were some panic for them to get away from. I think that it's probably just a lack of belief in people's lack of belief in themselves, which certainly contributes to the progress that the evil and the destructive forces are making in this world.
Yeah.
Ryan.
Like the big bike lobby, the Mon Monster, the terrible villains that plague Western Pennsylvania. So, yeah, but I mean, honestly, there's a reason why the cyclists in Pittsburgh are winning the fight. It's because people who drive cars are gutless. You know, it's just a little bit of rain. You know, it's like the first time it snows and everyone cowers in fear. You know, my intern, I love him, but he said he couldn't come down tonight because of the weather, and I'm thinking, the rain? Get an umbrella! But see, I don't let the elements bring me down, Ian. I do not hide. I do not cower in fear. I don't hide under my desk. I don't piss behind the couch anytime I hear a bolt of light, you know,
When
a thunderbolt.
do you piss behind the couch? Is that when the shower is clogged?
Not, you know, I never pee in a shower. But, you know, I would rather actually pee behind the couch than pee in the shower. A shower is a place for cleaning. And that's another issue I feel very strongly about.
We need to devote an entire hour to unpack that one.
No, but you know, we really should. But you know, like a dog, for example, whenever it hears thunder, it will run and pee behind the couch. I guarantee you, half of these poor losers, I shouldn't say losers, they're not all losers. They're losers when it comes to driving. Yeah. All these poor driving losers are probably peeing behind the couch every time they hear.
Yeah, but your analogy falls apart because dogs don't drive. Maybe that's the next phase. Maybe that's when we know the world will really be ending, is you'll see dogs
behind
the wheels.
I think that could actually be a good thing. I think a lot of dogs could probably maybe teach a person a thing or two about driving.
A mutt in a Maserati.
I like it.
An Irish wolfhound in a Volkswagen.
We do appreciate our intern, though, but...
Oh, wait, a Weimaraner in a Volkswagen. Sorry.
There we go. No, but we do appreciate our intern. But yeah, you know, he was one of the wimps today.
Woof.
I gotta say.
That is a rough reputation. Oh, it's a rough reputation that he's going to have to live down.
Yes. So next time, when the skies are blue like it is now, he'll come down. See, he just wasn't up for the challenge. He wasn't up for the fight.
And look at what he missed out on.
I know. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful weather, beautiful atmosphere. Don't you miss out on it. Come on down to Irwin Music in the Streets night. We're right here, right now on 4th Avenue in Irwin at the Laurel Highlands Meadery. You should come down and be here as well. We've got a good crowd in here. It's really is. I mean, I just finished my second glass. I can't keep a glass together because it's just that damn good.
Can't keep a glass full is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, my glass is less than half empty. I can't put it down.
Hey, that's no crime. That's no crime. Alcohol is legal, y'all.
And alcohol is good for you.
Especially in the form of fermented honey, yeast, and water. That's all it is here at the Laurel Highlands Meadery.
And they have a good variety, too. That's one thing I love, whether you like a sweet mead or more of a dry mead. Mm-hmm. They do have a good variety, which is surprising because when I heard honey, I kind of was thinking, oh, it's all going to be super sweet. But it's not.
Right.
So really good. So I'm looking forward to checking this out. We're going to be wrapping it up here, but I want to go and check out some of this music because it really is just an awesome event. It's one of my favorite events of the year. Last year I was supposed to come down here and do a show, but I got hired at my new job right beforehand and my hours were awful, and I was so mortified that I couldn't come down to this event. It's such an awesome
You're going to have to get yourself a new job.
I think I might. So, Ian, what do you have coming up?
Sorry, that was me fiddling and fidgeting. What do I have coming up?
Yeah, any shows?
Well, in the state, Kevin and Ian, Too Stupid, a one-man show,
nice.
will
That's
be
right.
at the Bad Theater Festival in Philadelphia. For any of you willing to make the trip, any of you stupid heads out there.
There's a reason why they call it
too.
Too Stupid, because you know what I always say.
What's that?
People say that, oh, well, the founding of our country, they once the national capital was there, and I always respond, you're right. Our founding fathers were very intelligent people. They left. They left Philly. So.
Well, we're moving in. We're bringing Too Stupid, a one-man show.
Which is awesome. So
Thank you.
It is really good.
And then down the line, we'll be working on some other shows that I'm sure I will be on air to talk about before they happen. So, and I will be back here for the next installment, hopefully. Get to join.
Music in the Streets night.
Yeah, join you in Irwin again. I'm excited for it.
Very cool. So I will be back on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. with Jay and Howie, and then I will be back as well on Monday, 10 a.m. But we have local music playing 24 hours a day at riversedgepgh.com. Come down, Irwin, Music on the Streets night, going on all night long. Stop by, get yourself a glass of mead at Laurel Highlands Meadery. For Ian Insect, I'm Brian Crawford. See you in a few minutes.